Loving is the potion. Live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe up, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion. Loving is the potion. Live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe up, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion. Loving is the potion. Ooh, that sugar. All I want is satisfaction. Make a move, baby, you got nothing to lose. Give me that good reaction. Gonna make it right, little like an offer I can't refuse. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe up, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion. Loving is the potion. Ooh, that sugar ooh, that sugar ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion. Loving is the potion. Ooh, that sugar, just my kind of heat. Ooh, that sugar, sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Ooh, that sugar, ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, tested by the motion. Loving is the potion. Live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the high. Ooh, that sugar sweet. You got what I need. Sipping on the potion. All that good emotion. Just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat. Tested by the motion. Loving this devotion. Live it up, live it up, live it up, sweet emotion. 'Cause every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time. Taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights. I've got to run this show. You always take me so high. You always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe. You're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet. You got what I need. Sipping on the potion. All that good emotion. Just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat. Tested by the motion. Loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar. All I want is satisfaction. Make a move, baby, you got nothing to lose. Give me that, give me that, give me that good reaction. Gonna make it right, little like an offer I can't refuse. I'm on the road, it's my time. Taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights. I've got to run this show. You always take me so high. You always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe. You're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet.
Morning. Morning, folks. Morning, traders. Hope you guys are well. Happy Friday. Hey, Paul. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Leon, Savio, Steven. Morning. Hope you guys are all good. I'm in a good mood this morning for no particular reason, but I just woke up in a pretty good mood. Almost broke my 80 yesterday. I'm not sure if any of you are golfers, but almost broke 80 yesterday. Getting there. I was, again, I don't know if any of you are golfers. Maybe this is all gibberish to you. Morning, Silver. But I was 7 over after 15. Excuse me. After 15, I birdied. So I was 9 over. Then I went birdie on 14, 15, and then 16 was like unfortunately this like 200-yard par 3 over the water, and I was stepping up and I was shaking because I knew, I'm like, oh god, I've got a par. I had to go par to break 80 and shoot 79. So when you got water, a long par 3, I'm thinking, oh shit, there's only going one place, this ball, and unfortunately it went right in the water. So anyway, ended up with an 83 or something, doubled that hole and then doubled the next one. But anyway, good day of golf, as they say. A day on the golf course is better than a day at your office. Although when you're a trader, is that true? Yeah, probably still is. It probably still is. Anyway, let's get into the markets today. Yeah, that's the first time, Savio, I've ever been back-to-back birdies. I hit 2 like great shots. But then, yeah, just a horrible par 3. But what can you do, huh? No, I've hit an 80 before, Leon, but I've never broken that 80. But the courses here are relatively difficult, so I'm not sure if I would do it in Europe. We're trying to figure out when we're going to Spain, but we're going to Spain probably, hopefully August or something, September. So maybe I can do it then if the courses are a little bit easier than they are here. But anyway, good day. It's certainly starting to heat up here, that's for sure. It was hot for the front 9. I was sweating and 30-something degrees, so it's about time to get out of Dubai now, I think, or almost. Anyway, let's get into the market. So today is obviously the giveaway stream. I'll do that a little bit later. For members, this is a live stream, so if you are not sure what that is, there's a link up in the chat to Simplicity Trading. If you're interested in taking our 7-day free trial, then just click that link and do it. Right. So we'll go through the news today. Not massive amounts of fundamental drivers. There's retail sales out of 4:30 UAE time, out the US dollar. Again, I'm not going to predict or say anything about that. As always, for me, it's waiting for the market's reaction to the news rather than the news itself. So be aware if you are a short-term trader, the volatility that will come at that time. Obviously, put it into your own time zone. So you're at 4:30. Right. So as we talked yesterday about the S&P, I just had that hunch. I just didn't really buy this move to the downside. I was saying that yesterday. It was bullish, right? Right. Inflation news was bullish. And we kind of have flipped over yesterday and moving on into, again, tagging this significant zone, which I do think is certainly a key area if we go out to the daily. I just think this is a real key area, pulling it out to the weekly as well. If we do manage to break through, which again, we have not yet, then I just like where this market is. I do. I was talking to a mate yesterday and I'm bullish. I have to say I'm bullish right now. That can change. So if we do fail here and we come down, then yes. But right now, I am bullish on these markets. So again, at the moment, I do think we break through. Possibly we need a little bit, possibly we could get a little retracement here, creating our double V reversal pattern, even into that. Which would still be fine from a long-term perspective. Obviously not from my personal trade perspective would that be great. But yeah, I ultimately think this market moves to the upside because right now that's what price action is telling me. So still bullish, still relatively, I've gone slightly risk on until we break through that area. Then I'll go pretty much more full-blown risk on sentiment. And yeah, looks pretty good. So for me, in terms of this trade, obviously I've locked around 2R in. I could move this stop up here if I wanted to. I'm just going to leave it for now. I'd rather have again, give this trade a little bit more room. Excuse me a second. A little bit of room to breathe. If I can get a good anchor, a good swing, then, something like that, then I will certainly move it up. And again, just lock in that profits. So I've not had a big trade this year yet, and this could be the one. Still looks good. Still looks good to the upside. I like it. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get a dollar trade. It did break through this area, and we've broken through this zone now. So, the dollar's in a precarious position, I feel. It'll be interesting to see how this day closes today. Obviously my bias for the dollar has been down. It has been down for quite some time, talking about this zone in particular. So from a daily perspective, although I would preferably have wanted this, it doesn't mean that had to happen. We're still relatively healthy, and it still looks good for the downside. So playing dollar shorts for me absolutely makes sense right now. From a 4-hour perspective, again, what I wanted to happen was a little retracement here, so I could potentially get involved in an aggressive entry short or potentially a little bit more accumulation for a break to the downside. Unfortunately, I didn't get that. I did like the idea of selling it, but it just went away from me. And looks pretty good to the downside from a daily and weekly, but, do we need a slight retracement here on the 4-hour? It's not said that it wants to do that yet. There's no real catalyst to say we're pulling back. So yeah, you've got to maintain that bias of dollar shorts, and I think that is a good play. Just be wary that because we have moved relatively well in recent days, that there could be a pullback, possibly a retest of that area. Would make sense before continuation. So yeah, I like dollar shorts, and I like S&P longs. Anybody investing? Has anybody invested recently for a long-term perspective? Again, dollar cost averaging, I think it's a great time. To put some money in the stock market, whether you get an opportunity, well, you probably will. Whether you get an opportunity like this, again, you probably will, but I just think with where it's at, it's just a good time to buy and hold. Right, watch list today. So nothing major, not a lot to look at on this Friday, which is absolutely fine. Obviously, I'm happy with the position I'm in, but I'm still looking at USD Mexican. Still looking at this from potentially a 4-hour point of view or a daily point of view. From a 4-hour point of view, I would need this to come and create our secondary structure. So we've got our initial cup with handle, essentially. From a 4-hour perspective, that's what I would need. So nothing really pertinent for today. If it does do this, then potential aggressive entry, or ideally secondary structure, a little bit of accumulation, let that 20 catch up, create that healthy price action that I like to see before a break to the downside. So USD Mexican, still doing what I wanted to do. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I just need a little bit of patience. Again, waiting for that 20 catch up essentially now. Price action like this. So maybe if it does accumulate, could be a trade for mid next week or sometime next week, maybe end of next week for a break to the downside, going with that overall trend. So nothing massively complicated about that one, USD Mexican. And NAS 100 is another one that I do really like. So even though there's only 2 pairs on my watch list, both of them I really like, and both of them I would certainly like to trade. So we go out from a higher time frame perspective. This is just great. You know, for me, looking at charts, the way my eyes see the charts, from a daily perspective, we're coming out of this potential corrective. You've got that outside bullish engulfer coming on volume. Notice we're getting an uptick in volume as we're getting potentially to the end of this corrective for continuation up. So context-wise, that's great. With the idea saying that if I'm right and we get involved long, you know, we have another impulse, corrective impulse. So really like where NASDAQ is right now, the NAS 100, sorry. So setup here, potentially at B wave. Yeah, you could call this B wave, I would say. So we've got A here. Call A, B, C, potentially. I know it's a little bit messy, but ultimately is a complex corrective. What I'm worried at is this slightly breaks a bit too early, very similar to the dollar. So I'm needing this accumulation, 20-period catch-up to digest this structure. Doesn't look like it's going to come down and give me our secondary structure, but it can accumulate before a potential break to the upside. I'm just wary of where it is because a little slight pop-up here would mean I can't trade it, unfortunately. And it's certainly something I want to be involved in. So, yeah, I need a bit more accumulation, need a little bit of a 20-period catch-up before I take that break to the upside. But really like that idea. I do really like that idea. So NAS 100 potential longs. And that is it. That's it today. Anything you guys are looking at before I start getting into the prize giving? Anything you guys want me to look at? Any questions? So I think right now in terms of my, I'll get my FX book up here. In terms of where I'm sitting with these 2 StockNets accounts, obviously the big account, this one, the 150, still trying to build that back up. Let me just get it up here. So this, here we go. So the 150, or technically the 175K account, you can see here, obviously these numbers are slightly skewed because of my massively reduced risk. Still trying to get it back. This will obviously go up as I bank the trade in the S&P, but that is obviously still running. So yeah, that one will just do what it does. I'm not really focusing on it, to be honest with you, because I know it's going to take me some time to build it back up. As I go and as I pass through the 151 mark, I'll increase my risk and then, you know, keep going and keep doing it that way. In terms of the 10K account, which I'm doing in tandem, started off pretty well. You can see the disparity here between growth and equity growth, simply again because of the trade that is in process, this S&P. So I'll bring up my 10K here. So running right now, again, this is not banked. Anything can happen, but running equity-wise about 6.6%, which is obviously very good. If the S&P does move, I wouldn't be surprised that I hit my target of 10% just by using this trade. So if we do get a pop-up today or next week or whatever it is, because the risk-reward on this trade is very good, you know, and continues, I would expect me to hit that 11,000 mark and be able to scale up to 20, which would be great. So here we are. Here's the numbers on my second one. Hello, mate. Hello, Wiki. So obviously right now, negative 1.5 with that closures, but as I said, running about 6 point something percent when that trade closed, 3.3 in March. And actually, I would have to say that I got relatively. I'm not saying you don't have luck in trading, but with when I started it, it was just kind of the end of my drawdown, and potentially now starting, from a bad January, February, and hopefully that's the bad months out the way this year, and I kind of push on from there. So it's not bad. Not bad position. I'm pretty optimistic. Obviously with this new account, it gives me a little bit more motivation rather than just, going through the motions in terms of that big one to try and get it up, with the idea that growing this 10K to 20, 40, 80, then up to the 170 mark. The idea being when I do that, the 170K is back there. So technically I'll have 2 accounts with 170K, and then hopefully then try to push myself all the way up to that big million mark, which is my absolute ultimate goal, irrespective of whatever else I've got going on in terms of other accounts. This is my goal, and if I achieve it, nothing is obviously guaranteed, but I will certainly be celebrating with that first big withdrawal. So that's going in my mind now, is get to the million, potentially 2 million, have a big month. In the big months, I mean by a 10% plus month, which will obviously, you can work out those numbers, and go and have a holiday. No, you can't, Silver. I don't actually know, because I'm on there on my initial account. I'll answer your question in a second, Wiki. On my initial account, I'm not on the hub, right? So this is the hub. Let me get it up here. Because I think someone had told me that they automatically close your positions when you hit 10%. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Obviously, I don't have that on my initial account because I'm not on the hub, because this hub was created after I got my account. So, no, basically the answer is no, Silver, because you have to close all your positions for them to then scale up your account to go again. Correct me if I think I'm Steven, you probably know as well. I'm pretty sure you can't do it. I'm pretty sure you can't do it. No, I mean, no, you can't do it. Which is a shame. That's the only problem, right? Because if this S&P does run and run and run, okay, fair enough, on other accounts it's great, but let's say it becomes a 20% trade, technically you should have made 10%. So, but unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. If you don't mind me asking, do you trade your own funds as well, or given that there are multiple funding firms? So, no, I don't have my own personal account yet. I will have in the next few months. I'm planning on doing things with some equity that's coming my way, that I will start building up my own account. But what I do have is investors as well. So I have these accounts, I have investors accounts, and I'm about to build my own account. So, yeah, and hopefully get a little bit more investment side as well. So yeah, that's essentially what I do. But the idea is I have for me to put cash, it's not enough. I would need to have at least 6 figures into a personal account for me personally to think it's worth it, personally, which I'm planning on doing probably around summertime. So yeah, no personal account, to be honest. I put a lot of investment in my company, so I simply didn't have the funds to go and put it into my personal account, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this here. So that's what I'm doing. That is my plan. Oh, sorry, the question was, is it no longer worth doing it? No, I think it's absolutely worth having a personal account, because you don't have any restrictions, right? So ultimately, having your own account is always better than a fund account, always. For example, with this S&P trade, right? If I was up trading on my personal account and it made me 20%, then great, right? But with this one, I've potentially got to close it at 10, and I don't get to see a little bit of those extra gains, and those for me, in terms of my trading, is where I make my money, right? So they don't happen often. As I said, I've not had a big trade, and really this S&P is not a big trade just yet because I've only banked 2R. So those trades for me, which is 5, 6, 7, 8R, that I get maybe 2, 3, possibly 4 times a year, that's where my edge comes from. So and then with funding firms, there's potential for these for me not to experience these big gains because potentially I've got a scale and etc. etc. So yeah, your own account is certainly always better. But then again, for a lot of people, you have to do funding companies, right? Because you don't have the required capital that will be worth the effort. So if you've only got $1,000, right, and we're thinking of making plus 20% a year, I'm not saying you can't make more than that. Obviously, you can have a great year, then nothing's out the question. But let's say on average 20% a year, then 20% of $1,000 is not a lot of money, right? Which is why I always think that 100K is really where you probably need to start from. And even saying that 100K, 20K, 20% a year, obviously if you have a good year, then 40K. It depends where you live as well, cost of living, etc. But yeah, it's got to be enough money, and if you don't have that, you have to use funding companies because, again, for example, I paid I think it was £800 for my $10,000 account, my first one. So this one here. Right, so this account cost me $800. Now, if I get to where I want to go, obviously not taking any money out, where you can potentially get that $100,000 withdrawal, that's completely realistic. It's not unrealistic at all. I've essentially turned £800 into $100,000, right? And then from these big withdrawals, you then potentially put them into your own account, and off you go. That's the ultimate thing there. From the path of what you want to do, right? And then there's always other opportunities. Like I said, there's a lot of nonsense in the market and in trading social media. But let me tell you, people with money, right? And there's a lot of people with money in Dubai, for sure. Well, there is. That's the fact. If you tell them and you go to somebody like that and say you've done 20% a year for the last 3 years, they will bite your hand off for those returns. Because we know the 70, 80%, 100% consistent returns is not going to happen, right? If you do 100% a year, right, firstly, you won't need any additional investment because the compound interest will take its flow and you'll be earning millions and millions and millions. But, these people with real wealth, they're looking at 6% a year, 7% a year, relatively risk-free investments. But if you go to somebody like that and you've learned and blah, 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 and you can go and say, look, I've done this, they'll probably, again, it has to go conversations, etc. But, there's certainly people that would look to invest in you as a trader, and you take a proportion of that as well. So there's lots of opportunity if you are a profitable trader. But it does, in order for you to build that equity and get the returns up to, let's say, the 6-figure monthly returns or whatever big number is for you, it takes a bit of time to get there. So I'm now 1 year in on this account. And it's probably going to take me another year for I think, maybe less, maybe more, for me to get to where I want. So it's having that patience of going through to get to those numbers. I don't even know if I answered the question there, but I was probably gone off in a tangent. However, that's my personal view anyway. My personal view. Right, anything you guys want me to look at before I do the giveaways? If you don't know, every month at Simplicity Trading, we give away a $5,000 stock net account, which is the ones I'm doing now, to one member, a member that I feel is a good trader and that can, profitable trader, consistent trader that can grow these accounts. And we also give away $200 to a member. Now, the 200 is more like thank you for being part of the community, but usually for an individual, maybe they're new that comes in, they're obviously not ready for a funded account, and they've shown, they're willing to work and on streams or watching the recordings and just putting in the work, and that's what the $200 is for. So the first winner of the $200 for last month, this is the last month's prize, or this month's prize, March prize. I delayed it for a week. The $200 winner is Leon. Leon, well done, mate. Fully deserved. Always on the stream. Always good with your gifts around the community. So Leon, or Lucky Bee, as your Discord username is. That's what I've used here. Is a $200 winner. So well done, mate. So you can use that as cash, or you can use it as credits for your membership. So well done, Leon. Very, very well deserved. Right, the second winner. The second winner today of the 5,000, the big one, is a trader who I know very well. A very good trader. Consistent trader. Been around RTFX and Simplicity for a long time. Well-deserved winner. And hopefully this account will help him grow it, because I know with stuff like FTMO and my FOREX funds, it is difficult to get that slight bit of luck you need to make that 10%, 5%. But I'm very confident that he will be able to grow this to potentially up to $1 million, and we both do it. We both do it essentially. So $5,000 account winner for this month is Silver. Well done, mate. Absolutely deserved winner. And I'm looking forward to see you hopefully grow this account, as I said, up to that big number. As a few of us in here, Steven obviously is growing his account. Hopefully we can get Aaron as well, the last winner. I'd have to ask him what he's on now. But if we can get a few in Simplicity, growing those up to the 6-figure mark, that would just be fantastic. I would love to see that. So well done, Silver. I'll send you a private message over the weekend and we can get that sorted out. But well done, mate. So this is what what I like to do. This is what I like to do. So yeah, well done, mate. Well deserved. Well deserved. Right. Anything else before I head off? I have to ask Aaron, actually. I have to ask Aaron how he's doing with his. No worries, Silver. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. As I said, I'm very confident that you can grow it. Obviously, you know what the kind of deal is. Keep those profits in and go, and then get to that number where you're thinking whether it be the 40K mark, the 80K mark, where you say, right, if I make a big month here, I'll take some winnings out. But yeah, first scale is well, I'm saying the first scale is the hardest. I'm going through my drawdown right now. But anyway, let's see how it goes. And yeah, I will. There is an extra role in Simplicity here. So where's would I put the roles? Here. So the respected trader. Although I think there's a lot of respected trader in what I want to do here. If somebody on a stocknet or obviously passes an FTMO gets to, let's say, over 100K, we'll move them up into the red role as a funded or respected traders within the community. So there's a little, although is that a little bonus? Probably not. Anyway, something a little silly that would be quite cool. So there's the thing. Anyone who gets over 100K will be moved up to the respected trader role into Simplicity. Yeah, it would be great, mate. It would be great. I would absolutely love that as well. Right, guys, have a lovely weekend, and I will see you all on Monday, where we're going to do it all over again. Right, guys, have a great weekend. Trade safe. Peace.